Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 8 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, His Highness the Emir pays a visit to a number of societies for people with special needs on the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan. The First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister host a Ramadan banquet in honour of heads of diplomatic missions accredited in Kuwait. More than 100 people are killed in Gaza as Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip continue for the fourth day. And Egypt's Foreign Minister meets Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki as Kurdish security forces take over two major oil fields. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah paid a visit to Kuwait Sports Club for the deaf on the occasion of the advent of the holy month of Ramadan. His Highness the Emir was accompanied by His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah and Deputy Chief of the National Guard Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah. His Highness was received upon arrival by the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs Sheikh Salman Sabah Al-Sam Mahmoud Al-Sabah, the Director General of the Public Authority for Youth and Sports Sheikh Ahmed Mansour Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah and Chairman of the club Ismail Isa Karam. His Highness the Emir praised the role of the Chairman and board members in serving the deaf, affirming the state's keenness on best serving and meeting the needs of the deaf. The club chairman delivered a speech and then a commemorative gift was presented to His Highness the Emir on this occasion. His Highness the Emir then paid a visit to Kuwait Disabled Sports Club, where he was received by the Minister of Information and Minister of State for Youth Affairs, the Director General of the Public Authority for Youth and Sports and Chairman of the club, Shafi Muhammad Al-Hajri. His Highness the Emir expressed gratitude to the club's chairman and board members for their efforts and hailed their sports achievements and the regional and international levels, wishing them further success. Afterwards, Chairman Al-Hajri delivered a speech followed by a documentary film on the club's achievements, and then a commemorative gift was presented to His Highness the Emir on this occasion. His Highness then visited the Kuwait Blind Association, where he was received by the Minister of State for Housing Affairs and Acting Minister of Social Affairs and Labour Yasser Hussein Abul and Chairman of the Association Faiz Lafi Al-Azmi. His Highness the Emir congratulated them on the holy month of Ramadan and stressed his continuous support for people with special needs and his keenness on eliminating all the difficulties confronting them. Meanwhile, the association chairman delivered a speech thanking His Highness the Emir for his visit, and then a commemorative gift was presented to His Highness the Emir on this occasion. During his visit, His Highness the Emir was accompanied by the Deputy Minister of Emir Diwan Affairs Sheikh Ali Jarrah Al-Sabah, senior state officials and a host of sheikhs. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to the Kuwaiti shooter Abdullah Al-Turji Al-Rashidi for winning the gold medal in the skeet shooting contest currently held in China. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to the Kuwaiti shooter Abdullah Al-Turji Al-Rashidi for winning the gold medal in the skeet shooting contest currently held in China. His Highness Sheikh Jabir Al-Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. The First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah hosted a Ramadan banquet last night in honour of heads of diplomatic missions accredited in Kuwait. During the banquet, Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid stressed the necessity of addressing Arab and Islamic issues, voicing hope that the UN Security Council would issue a resolution on ceasing fire in Gaza. Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid also affirmed the significance of implementing the truce agreement reached in 2012 and returning the negotiations to the negotiating table to stop the suffering of the Syrian people, noting that the Arab League Secretary General, the Islamic Cooperation Organization and the UN are working together in this regard. On the other hand, the First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister expressed hope that Iraq and Syria will restore security and stability to avoid further destruction. Israel's military offensive in Gaza ended its fourth day, leaving more than 100 people killed and wounding hundreds more. More on the following report by Majd Al-Wahidi.
Israeli bombs fall and Gaza families continue to bury the dead. In the fourth day of the military offensive, the death toll topped 100. More than 300 Palestinians were also wounded. Hospitals in Gaza suffer from medical shortages. This is the bloodiest Israeli onslaught since 2012. Our children are dying and the world is watching. Yesterday, Israel targeted our home with 2 rockets. We are not militants. We don't fire rockets into Israel, but they destroyed our home and now we are displaced. The increased violence is part of Israel's Operation Protective Edge. Israel say their goal is to stop Hamas rocket fire and target militants who are responsible for the almost 200 rockets fired into Israel in the past week. Meanwhile, Hamas militants and other fighters say these rockets are a natural reaction to Israel's crimes. Human rights organizations expressed their deep concerns over the ongoing offensive.
We are calling on the international community, mainly the UN Secretary General, in order to intervene immediately to stop the Israeli aggression on the Palestinians and the grave violations committed by Israel on the Palestinian civilians. Most of the targeted by the Israeli airstrikes are civilian people and civil premises.
In an emergency meeting, UN Chief Ban Ki-moon called for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militants. But a senior Hamas official said that Hamas will not return to a ceasefire with Israel until it abides by its conditions. And for Israel, a ceasefire is not even on the agenda. Trapped between airstrikes and rockets are Gaza citizens who are paying the price. As a show of humanity, Israel gives innocent Palestinian civilians a warning of airstrikes. They usually call them saying you have 5 minutes and the rockets will come. There are no shelters in Gaza and these 5 minutes mean the only difference between life and death. This family was unlucky to survive, leaving behind them a whole bombed house and much bloodshed. Majd Al-Wahidi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon named veteran UN official Staffan de Mistura as the new UN envoy to Syria to succeed former UN Arab League envoy Lakhdar al-Brahimi. Ban said the special envoy will provide good offices aimed at bringing an end to all violence and human rights violations and promoting a peaceful solution to the Syrian crisis. The UN estimated that about 10.8 million Syrians, or nearly half of the country's population, are in need of humanitarian assistance as the country remains deep in crisis due to failed peace talks between the government and the opposition. The UN chief said the de Mistura's mission will include expanding humanitarian aid, reducing and ending violence, and forming an executive to lead Syria's transition and organize a national dialogue, a review of the constitution, national elections, and an end to the flow of arms into the country. Al-Brahimi resigned on May 31st after nearly 2 years of failed efforts to end Syria's worsening civil war. He followed in the footsteps of former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, who resigned from the same job in August 2012 after failing to broker a ceasefire as the country descended into war. Iraqi and Kurdish sources said Iraqi Kurds have taken over 2 oil fields amid a growing dispute with the government in Baghdad. Kurdish Peshmerga forces seized control of production facilities at the Bai Hassan and Kirkuk oil fields in the north of the country today. Kurdish MPs have also withdrawn from Iraq's central government. They did so after Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki accused the Kurds of harboring extremists. Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri met with Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki today for talks on how to contain the threat posed by militants in the region. Earlier, Shukri was met at Baghdad airport by Iraq's Foreign Ministry Under Secretary Nizar al-Khairallah and an accompanying delegation. Al-Khairallah was meeting Shukri on behalf of Iraqi Foreign Minister Hoshe Zebari, a Kurd, amid tensions between Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki and Kurdish government officials. The visit comes amid the deepening dispute between the Kurds and Iraq's central government. US Secretary of State John Kerry sought to broker a deal between Afghanistan's rival presidential candidates today as a bitter dispute over last month's runoff election risks spiraling out of control. Kerry, who arrived earlier in Kabul, met with former Finance Minister Ashraf Ghani Ahmadzai and former Foreign Minister Abdullah Abdullah, as well as the current Afghan leader, President Hamid Karzai. Kerry said he wanted Afghanistan to have a government that is recognized by all of its people. For the United States, the political crisis is threatening to undermine more than a decade of efforts to leave behind a strong Afghanistan capable of containing the Taliban insurgency and preventing extremist groups like Al-Qaeda from using the territory to endanger the American homeland.
Well, we've had many discussions through the years, and I'm here because President Obama and the United States.
Officials said a rebel attack with Grad missiles on a Ukrainian post on the border with Russia today may have killed as many as 30 soldiers and border guards, and final casualties may even be higher. If the casualty figures are confirmed, this would amount to the deadliest rebel attack on government forces since the Ukrainian military ended a unilateral ceasefire on June 30th. Government forces have recently been gaining the upper hand in a 3-month battle with separatists who have set up what they call People's Republics in the Russian-speaking east of the country and said they want to join Russia. Last weekend, Kiev scored a notable victory by pushing rebels out of a stronghold in Sloviansk and forcing them back to the main industrial city of Donetsk, where they have now dug in. But rebel attacks have continued steadily nonetheless in Luhansk region, where rebels also control strategic buildings in the regional capital. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. His Highness the Emir pays a visit to a number of societies for people with special needs on the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan. The First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister host a Ramadan banquet in honour of heads of diplomatic missions accredited in Kuwait. More than 100 people are killed in Gaza as Israeli airstrikes on the Gaza Strip continue for the 4th day. And Egypt's Foreign Minister meets Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri Maliki as Kurdish security forces take over 2 major oil fields. Thank you for joining us. Have a good evening.